Son of a legendary father, Avik Chatterjee, a big name in the food and beverage industry, and the chairman of specialty restaurants. With me here today is Avik Chatterjee, his son, who was a person in his own right and has successfully started and run Hoppipola and another brand, Zoodles. He's actually going to be talking about his success mantras, what entrepreneurship means to him, and what it is like to carve a niche for yourself in the food and beverage industry. Hi, Avik.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure to meet you.
Likewise. Avik, if you could tell us, what is it like to be born, to a famous father who sort of worked so hard and created such world-famous brands? Was it easy?
Firstly, I would say it's my luck that I'm born in such a reputed family with having such wonderful parents.
Absolutely.
And I would say it's a good thing, not a bad thing at all.
Certainly.
But also it comes with a lot of responsibilities.
Absolutely.
So that's something that I'll have to live up to or carry forward with me.
Certainly.
In some ways or the other. Yeah.
So did you always want to become an entrepreneur? Was it the most logical thing to do, or was it something that you've consciously worked towards?
Looking at my father, he's been an entrepreneur. He's worked really hard and he's come from nowhere in terms of, he was a waiter at the Taj and today he is wherever he is. And looking up to that, I have to follow him in some way or the other, or make myself at least worthy to be his son.
Certainly.
So, yes, I have wanted to be an entrepreneur throughout my life.
Wonderful. So how did this branch of innovation and new formats, this fancy designation, how did it come your way? Did you earn it or did you just get it easily?
I did have to slog a little bit because my father is strict. He's not so easy with me getting whatever I want.
Okay.
But there were tips. There were new ideas. I did not want to do fine dining completely because I saw times were changing.
Right.
So I did put my ideas forward and I wanted to do exactly what the youngsters wanted because that's who I am right now. And I wanted to connect to my kind of people.
Certainly.
The reason why I put up my new ideas and some of it he picked up and he allowed me to do what he did.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So how did Hoppipola come about?
So Hoppipola, I wanted to do a bar for the youth.
Okay.
I wanted to do something that was very close to my heart because I had just come back from college.
Okay.
And I saw people partying in college and I partied with them in fact. So that's been one of my major inspirations. So the name Hoppipola has just come up, it was very random. But
The concept?
the concept was created over time. There were a lot of discussions, there were a lot of arguments, there were a lot of stops where I needed to fill myself in. But the concept was just literally because of my age, I guess, and I wanted to connect to the people of my age.
And it has obviously worked, and how?
It's God's grace.
So, what did your father think about this concept? Was he sort of gung-ho about you going ahead with this, or was he just gave you freedom to do what you wanted?
Initially, he was really against it, I would say, in some ways, because he's not used to feeding people without a plate and a table mat, right? And for me, I was like, people don't care about it anymore. They just want a good vibe, a good environment.
True.
And that's what I hit on. Rather than large plates, I wanted the small plates to move. Because people are not in for main courses as much as we think they do.
Certainly.
But they like to have meals with a drink, right? So that's how I kind of balance food and beverages together. And I guess Hoppipola has picked up for the same reason. Yeah.
And what about Zoodles? How was that concept?
So Zoodles was awesome. It actually, I picked it up from this, I got inspired rather from this one concept in London.
Okay.
Where I would go. It would be my go-to place for every time I would be hungry after class. So I would go there, pick up a walk box for myself and I would walk off. So then I was like, why not do this for my own country? So I came back and that was one of my first ventures for specialty restaurants. And that's how it came up. The crowd really wanted something like a wok or a box meal, and that's how I tried to put it out there.
Avik, tell me something. What was the first year like? Were there hardships or was it relatively easy because you are Avik Chatterjee's son?
There was a lot of confusion.
Okay.
There was a lot of confusion. I was lost. I was sitting on an office chair with a desk and with a laptop on all day, which I wasn't used to. And for me, it was working fast rather than going through processes. Okay. So following the processes was a bit of a pain for me. But slowly I did pick up, and Dad accepted my ways of work as well. So I think we're a good duo now. So let's see.
Okay. Any tough lessons learned in the first year?
Oh yeah, PhD. That's something my dad keeps on saying: passion, hard work, and discipline.
Oh, wonderful.
And this is something that I tend to follow, or at least try to live up to follow that. But yeah, that's something that he's been putting in my head since I'm a child. Maybe it's work, maybe it's studies, maybe it's football, or whatever it is. So he's always told me PhD is the way to go.
That's a good mantra. Tell me something, Avik. Do you really think that this is a time for young entrepreneurs in the food and beverage space to sort of jump onto this bandwagon, since a lot of global investors are coming in at this time in the food space?
I mean, yes, why not? I mean, be young, be old, be in any field. I mean, since we're talking about food right now, I would say yes, why not? Because I would say the youngest ideas are kind of brighter,
True.
not always, but also very innovative.
Sure.
Because they're always trying to do something different from what's already been there.
Right.
So I would say yes.
Okay. So it's obviously a good time for new ideas to come in and people to experiment and
Yes,
look at new things.
100%. Because investors are looking at for innovation. They're looking out for something out of the box and not
Right.
something that's already been there and you're replicating. So new ideas, new concepts, localizing your food, that's something that people are trying to do, and I think they're doing a good job.
I'm given to understand that you have an interest in venture capital and private equity as well.
A little bit, because
Okay.
I've
Tell us about it.
So I've been watching this TV show, right, called Shark Tank. I mean, the whole world does.
Right.
So since that, when I was in college, we had a lot of pitches. So I took a lot of inspiration from that. So myself, I would like to be a venture capitalist someday because I love innovation, I love innovating, and I love investing in new products. So
Okay.
helping people out if I can someday. But yeah, venture capitalism is the way to go for me sooner or later. But for now, it's food and beverage.
But would this venture capitalism be in the food and beverage arena only?
Yes. No, not only,
Only,
not-
okay.
but I would love
Definitely
to.
also.
Yes, also. Why not add it
Since you
to-
understand the industry so well.
Exactly. I would love to understand or at least add value to what I do. And if I don't see myself adding value to what I invest in, I don't think I'm a good match for that.
Okay, well said.
Thank you.
Avik, to tell me something, what do you believe, that is entrepreneurship something that is sort of inborn, inherent within you, or is it something that can be learned and taught?
I mean, I would say it's 50-50
Okay.
because looking at my dad and coming from my family, I would always see an entrepreneur in my dad. And as every son would want to become his dad one day, I did too. And I would say that you also need to work hard to become an entrepreneur. And by work hard, I mean you need to have some kind of knowledge, because it's a knowledge-based economy now.
Completely.
Without knowledge, you're not going to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. So you don't know the difference between wrong and right. So I would say it's 50-50.
In your case, what was it?
In my case, I would say number one was my dad, because he's been my professor, my principal, my teacher, my tutor for whatever I've done till date.
Right.
And obviously my guardian, right? He's been the guy who's been guiding me out and putting it out there and letting me learn or make mistakes. He's helping me make mistakes, which is a very good thing, because without that I wouldn't realize what's right, what's wrong. So
Avik, according to you, what is it that really contributes to a success of a business, especially in the food and beverage arena? Would it be hard work, knowledge and skills, passion, or luck?
I would say all of them.
Okay.
Because you need hard work, right? Without hard work, you're not going to get anywhere.
course.
If you don't have the knowledge in what you're doing, you're not going to understand why you're doing things and why people aren't liking what you're doing. And I would say luck has to be there, because you have to be at the right place at the right time, because you can't get a concept that's futuristic and India does not accept it. You need to have something that's
Yes.
for the time itself.
Right.
So I would say everything plays a big part in success.
Any exciting new plans in this space? Anything new?
I mean,
nice
yes.
coming up?
So we have a good 6 new concepts that's coming up soon.
6 concepts.
And it's still in work process. Some of them are almost ready, but as much as I would love to share out as to what it's called or how it is going to be, I can't because of
Still in the planning stage.
exactly. So I don't want to let it out, but sooner or later I would let it out, and I'm sure the public would at least like it.
I'm
Crowd,
sure.
Yeah, I really hope so. They do, because I've worked a lot on this. So
wonderful.
I really hope so.
I think looking back, do you think that you made the right decision by getting into something like
Oh
this?
hell yeah, 100%.
Oh,
I would kill to be over and over again, because
Oh,
this is
wow.
what I love. It's my forte, and this is something I would never like to lose. So
That's spoken truth from the heart, absolutely. And that was Avik Chatterjee sharing his success mantras with me on Mini's Food Fundas. If you enjoy watching Mini's Food Fundas, do subscribe to my channel.